Hey and welcome! My name is Sierra Cassidy, and I am a Canadian smut author here to educate and entertain smut writers and readers. Today we're talking about acronyms and short forms in the book world. If you haven't watched the first episode where we covered general acronyms, characters, and relationships, I'd recommend checking that out. Today we're going to be covering genres, platforms, communities, stores, tropes, kinks, books, authors, and miscellaneous ones that didn't quite fit elsewhere. Let's start with acronyms for genres you might encounter. PNR, Paranormal Romance. You might also see it as PRN. Paranormal Romance is a romance subgenre that contains elements of magic and fantasy such as vampires, witches, time travel, etc. SF, Science Fiction. This is stories featuring future technological advances, major social changes, sometimes including aliens, alternate histories, or time travel. SF/F, Science Fiction and Fantasy. The same as science fiction, but also encompassing the fantasy genre. OV, OMEGAVERSE. If you don't know what OMEGAVERSE is, it is far too much to dig into here, but there is another episode posted that will go over all of the basics for you. YA, Young Adult. These stories feature leads that are in their teens and are stories aimed at the teen audience. NA, New Adult. These stories feature adult characters embarking on the first steps of adulthood, such as university. You won't find a ton of books categorized this way, as publishers are slow to embrace new adult, given that young adult is so popular and thus lucrative. MG, Middle Grade. These stories are for preteen children and feature leads in that age category as well. Now let's move on to some acronyms for platforms, communities, and stores you might come across. GR, Goodreads. This platform is owned by Amazon and is a lawless reviewing wonderland where nothing is verified in terms of reviews, but you can keep track of all of your reading. FB, Facebook. YT, YouTube. KU, Kindle Unlimited. This is an Amazon subscription service where you pay a monthly fee and are able to access over 1 million titles that are enrolled in the service. KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, is Amazon's ebook publishing platform. B&N, Barnes & Noble. If you're not American, this is the largest bookstore chain in the States, like Waterstones in the UK or Chapters Indigo in Canada. BookTok. This is the book community on TikTok. BookTube. This is the book community on YouTube. BookBlur. This is the book community on Tumblr. AO3. Archive of Our Own. This is a non-profit archive of fanfiction and other fan works. FFnet. Fanfiction.net is another fanfiction archive site. Overdrive. This company builds apps and websites for libraries and schools so people can access ebooks, audiobooks, and other digital media. Overdrive works in a handful of countries: America, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Denmark, Finland, Norway, Sweden, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Libby. This is an app created by Overdrive to borrow ebooks, audiobooks, and magazines from public libraries. It will be available in all of the countries that Overdrive is available in. Hoopla. This is a digital library streaming platform that covers audiobooks, comics, ebooks, movies, music, and TV shows. Hoopla has a larger selection of books and audiobooks than Libby, but is only available in America and Canada. Now let's move on to some acronyms for tropes, kinks, and concepts you might come across. MC. Motorcycle Club. If you watched the first episode on acronyms, you'll know that MC is also short for main character, so you'll have to use context clues for this one. Taboo. Taboo is forbidden concepts. Taboo things that might show up in romance are family romance. This includes blood family, step family, and adoptive families, student and teacher, age gaps, doctor and patient, relationships with religious figures, basically any relationships that might be illegal or otherwise abhorrent in real life for various reasons. J/P, jealous, possessive. Dubcon, dubious consent. Obviously, in real life, this doesn't exist because if it's not an enthusiastic yes, it's a no. But in fiction, this refers to spicy time that is not explicitly consented to but is still wanted on some level, or the consent is unclear. Situations like both parties are drunk or high, someone is into it but afraid to say it out loud, etc. would fall under the Dubcon trope. Non-con, non-consent. This is just another term for sexual assault. I'm not going to get into the intricacies of fantasy versus reality and fiction versus reality, but suffice to say this particular trope is not uncommon, and there are a plethora of reasons people might enjoy consuming that content. BDSM. This is short for bondage, discipline, dominance and submission, sadism, and masochism. I'm not going to go into all the intricacies of BDSM to explain what it is and how it works, so that'll be a research project for you if you want to know more. The next few terms are all related to BDSM. Dom, short for dominant. Sub, short for submissive. Big D/little s, short for dominant and submissive. Daddy. This focuses around the concept of the caregiver rather than the sexualization of the blood relative. The daddy in question doesn't even need to have children, it's purely about energy and roleplay. Zaddy. An attractive older man that is stylish, confident, and charming. Daddy Dom. A dominant that takes the role of a caregiver with their submissive. While all doms should be caring toward their submissives, a daddy dom leans more heavily into the role to provide care, guidance, and correction similar to how a father would, but without the blood relation. DDLG with capital D's and lowercase lg. Daddy Dom and Little Girl. This is obviously the pairing of the Daddy Dom and a roleplay where the submissive pretends to be much younger, therefore relinquishing control and responsibility so they can chill out and be taken care of. Little. Part of age play where the participant pretends to be a small child. Middle. Part of age play where the participant pretends to be an older child or teen. ABDL. Adult baby diaper lover. This is part of age play where the participant pretends to be a baby and wears a diaper. Age play versus age gap. Age play is a role play where participants pretend they're a different age than they actually are, whereas an age gap is a literal difference in age between partners. When it comes to fiction, I've mostly seen age gaps of around 20 years to be fairly common, but anywhere from 10 years and up would usually qualify under this trope. You might also see reverse age gap, which is the same thing as age gap, but some people add reverse since men being older than women is the most common in the age gap trope. CNC. Consensual non-consent. Basically, the participants pretend things are not consensual even though they are, and boundaries were previously discussed and agreed upon. OTT. Over the top. OWD. Other woman drama. DP. Double penetration. Basically, you have one peen in the front door and one in the back door. You might also see this pop up as DVP, which is two peens in the front door. Now let's talk about some books and authors you might come across that are typically only referred to by their acronyms. ACOTAR. ACOTAR. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. IPB. Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. TOG. Throne of Glass by Cassandra Clare. DOV. Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. FBAA. From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. LOTR. Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. SOC. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. SJM. Sarah J. Maas. And now, miscellaneous. TSTL. Too Stupid to Live. This is a derogatory term used for female characters that make decisions the reader doesn't agree with. ISBN. International Standard Book Number. It's a number that identifies a book. TLDR. Too long, didn't read. This usually pops up with very long posts where the poster will summarize at the end for the people who don't want to take time to read the entire post. That's all for now. I hope you feel more confident in understanding the terms in the book world. If there are others you're still curious about, please let me know, and maybe we'll have a third episode covering more. You can find all of my books and platforms in the description below. If you have questions or suggestions for future episodes, please do let me know. And if you'd like early access to these, you can join my Patreon, where I share them with people as soon as they're ready to roll. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon for another episode. Bye!